And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MVs, for the start of our Valpo Overwatch Varsity here at Valparaiso University. I'm your host, Diadem. I'm here with my co-host,
George.
And we are today taking on the University of Illinois for NECC Week 5. Right, we've seen this team before. If we want to take a quick look at the rosters really quick as we load into this match for our Varsity Overwatch team, we have the starters that you see: Fusic on tank, Atlas and Like a Bus as our DPS, and Meepo and NH Cool Stuff as our supports. And loading into the map here as well, we do have Ana and Hazard banned. Ilios is our pick, right? We see these controls, obviously, NECC rules makes it control, but we've seen Valpo have a lot of success on Ilios, especially because our comps just kind of like this map. We love playing the Wrecking Ball, we love the Lucio backline, and having Genji on this map is disgusting. Like, multiple points, Genji is really, really strong on Ilios because there are a lot of angles and verticality to play. So I feel like Ilios is a great pick for Valpo to start off this match, and obviously, you have the speed up really quick. Meepo swapping to... Sorry about that. Meepo swapping to Juno right there for the speed boost, and then back on jumping back to Kiriko, yeah. So we're going to see immediately Fusic just trying to take a little bit of pressure here. You're going to have somewhat of a mirrored comp come out for the side of Illinois, but obviously instead you got a different backline and you have Roadhog as your tank, which I like. I usually like seeing a Roadhog because it kind of throws a wrench in a lot of teams' plans, but Fusic is just creating so much space here. Kiriko falling really, really low for the side of Illinois, and now Like a Bus looking for some kind of opportunity, but dashing in, 15 health, going to have to pick up the health pack, but not going to survive. You are going to trade 2 for 2, though, because Atlas picks off 2. Roadhog immediately with the dash as well. Atlas being able to just dash away a little bit there, forcing the other venture out. They're just going to have to jump to the top because Atlas is back to full health, and Valpo has first capture on this objective as NH Cool Stuff gets back. Really, really scrappy of a fight. I feel like Illinois kind of got split with a lot of their picks, and they had to follow Roadhog, obviously, which is what you do, but Roadhog, went to go chase Atlas, and Atlas was able to just get away, and now Illinois is kind of falling to these picks because Atlas has 3 kills already on this match. The 3 kills for Valpo are from Atlas. He is just creating so much space right now as Fusic immediately diving up in this backline, trying to look for anything here with this combo. Atlas dashing back up, does get picked off though a little bit too far, not expecting for the final shot there to kind of just track off. Obviously, that is the danger of playing against this backline, is that you can kind of track these shots over those walls. So now Valpo is playing at a disadvantage here. Like a Bus also falling for Valpo. So now you're playing onto the side. You do pop ult really quick out of Fusic though, so you're going to blow one ult immediately. It is a really fast charge though, but with how Wrecking Ball kind of won out on the buffs, especially this most recent patch with the new changes to the augments that he gets, I feel like it's a great pick here. Atlas creating a lot of space here, but just getting picked off in the back, not being able to find that side. Meepo is going to be able to trade one, but Illinois does capture the point, and now NH Cool Stuff is forced to back up here.
Yeah, I think great initial hold there out of Valpo, getting that 51% initially. Playing through this Atlas Venture Ultimate is going to be huge here. Meepo just trying to get the TP over to Fusic on the ball, not able to do so. So Valpo going to have to give some percent here and regroup with their second support. Couple ultimates on the line at the moment. Both support ults ready for Illinois and the Genji Blade, which can kind of be a dud sometimes. Actually, just a back cap here.
Hello! He just flies back immediately. Wooyoung not going to be able to pick that, but you do have the gates open for the side of Illinois. I mean, Fusic and Atlas are just hunting Wooyoung in the backline right now, trying to find this pick, and they do pick it off. But Valpo, the rest of their team, kind of has to survive on point. Fusic getting knocked off by Roadhog ult. Like a Bus getting pushed around to the side, and now the gates open for Valpo. kind of late, but trying to pick off anything but both DPS, Lycabus is on the map, but Atlas is down. Gonna be able to trade off one, but with Illinois still on the capture here, trying to make anything out of these gates, and now you have the Blade. There's the beat drop for NH Cool Stuff, and they are just trying to pressure this Roadhog. If they can take it out, but Wu Young ult on Roadhog is just gonna make him a monster as NH Cool Stuff gets launched off the map, and the stun, making it impossible to get there. Lycabus gets hooked out, gonna pop the reflect, but taking so much damage, he's gonna fall off there. Meepo's gonna be able to trade, and it's a really scrappy fight on point here. Fusik trying to play around to this back. You have a lot of range, especially with that health pack in the back. Now Atlas looking for some kind of pick on the back line here. And we're, oh my goodness, all right, we're getting attacked, we're getting DDoS in the audio department here. I'm not sure if that's coming through to chat, but yeah, the aliens are attacking really quick in our booth, as we're gonna quickly just... Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Voice meter decided to die on us and turn us all into aliens, but now overtime on the point. Illinois looking for anything out. Atlas using the dash, but just gets knocked off the point right there. Lycabus swapping to Trace and not going to be able to find it, and that's going to be first capture for Illinois. I like the idea that Valpo was running with the picks. I feel like it's not a bad comp. Cyberstellar, Cyberstellar being the venture from Illinois, typing "I can dig that" in chat after first round, which is it's kind of funny. I don't even think that's BM. I think that's just funny. But I like the idea of being able to dive with Wrecking Ball venture, but I feel like those kind of picks are just not making it into the actual team fight, because when you take those picks and then you start to stagger a kill, right, you have one in the backline fall, you have Atlas fall early, you're kind of leaving your team behind, and that's what Wrecking Ball does, but that's also not good for if 2 of your team out of your 5 are leaving.
We can do this. I just know it.
Yeah, but now they're gonna push onto the subjective here at control point. Going to be unlocking in 15 seconds. Valpo taking a pretty quick turn. Obviously, you see the Roadhog getting deflected off the hook there, so going to be down for a little bit of cooldown. Fusik taking the top right angle here, trying to just split their team out as much as they can, but a really nice hook from Roadhog. The cleanse is going to be big, though, to get NH Cool Stuff back up, but Lycabus is the first one to fall. Now Valpo is down without a DPS here. Genji gets another reflect, and the right click from Roadhog is going to finish it off right there. NH Cool Stuff just trying his best to stay alive. Going to be able to take out one, but Valpo is just falling apart here after that early pick, and they're going to have to regroup for this kind of fight. This is what the Roadhog comp kind of excels at, which is these kind of picks are like almost team fight killing, right? With a lot of picks that you play like for team fights with, right? With a lot of tanks, like a Reinhardt or so, one pick really doesn't mean too much in that sense, but Roadhog excels so much at isolation that kills like that where Fusik dashes in and then immediately gets soloed out now means that Roadhog can walk up with hook again and look for another pick and kind of just cascade that over and over without much punishment. So this team for Illinois is exactly where they want to be, with a numbers advantage and just controlling these angles, as Atlas looks for a quick pick on the corner, not going to be able to find it, and Valpo again is forced back and staggered, right? You're sitting on another 4v5 for another 8 seconds. That's, 8 seconds, we're talking to like 5% off the clock. Plus the time to get back, we're talking 10%, and slowly, Valpo has blinked, and this time is already at 50%. So we're going to have to see what they want to do. Fusik does swap to the Orisa, which is pretty good into this Hog, but Hog is just putting on a clinic right now as the Wu Young ult immediately comes in. Fusik trying to just push around this, excuse me, not Wu Young ult, just the buff right there was coming in. Do get the stun and the dash immediately as Lycabus looking for some kind of reset. NH Cool Stuff is just flying through the backline with him as well. That's going to be 2 for NH Cool Stuff. Looking for the third one here. He finds the third one on the melee, and Cyberstellar is low on the fourth one. Valpo finally with their first capture of this objective. NH Cool Stuff drops a 4K right on their heads to start off this fight. I love it. Let this dude out the cage, man. He's going to back up to try and get some kind of dash in, but the TP instantly from Meepo, it's just going to get him right back into the fight.
Everyone's ultimate about to come up here, so this is going to be huge to see who can manage the economy. Valpo's going to have all 5 up before Illinois does, but both support ults up. That Roadhog ult could kind of be huge, but the switch onto the Orisa is probably going to nullify it a little
and we're
bit.
popping first. I like that. We're getting aggressive. We're immediately diving into the back line, looking for the pick on Kiriko. Kiriko going to have to TP out, but Lycabus just gets a little bit too far, and a huge pull-in from Fusick. Going to be able to pick one. Looking for the second one in the back line. Genji, no cooldowns yet, but does get the reflect back. Valpo's doing a good job of staying alive while Fusick dives that because the beat drops in now. Atlas has the advantage on the right with Meepo. Takes that kill, and Valpo going to be able to win out. Roadhog ult is popped, so that is a huge cooldown here. If Valpo can just stay alive for a little bit longer, Atlas dashes up, will be able to dodge away from the hook there as Fusick backs up, and that's a one fight for Valpo, but here come the ults from the side of Illinois. Meepo with a great pick on the back line there, just shooting shurikens through the back. Genji also with the ult for Illinois, trying to push up, look for any kind of picks. The hook from Roadhog's not going to be successful as now Fusick is trying to take corners on the side, deleting any kind of projectiles, but the healing is just not there right now. Going to be able to get to it, but that forces him back. Lycabus gets aggressive. Atlas going to be able to trade one, but Lycabus falls for it as well. Atlas gets the second one, looking for the double. Fusick's going to take up the space, but Roadhog finds a way to the back line, going to be able to trade that out. Valpo still has an advantage, but you do have ult out of Venture coming back in, and Venture with the double kill. That's going to be huge because 83% on the point for Valpo, but 70% for Illinois. I feel like you just over-chased it a little bit too hard. You kind of took the one fight already, and now you're staggering so hard that if Illinois captures it right here, you're trying to delay to the overtime, but I mean, with 2 people left, you're way better off just fighting for the 70%. You're not going to be fighting for overtime yet. Realistically, you need to win 2 more fights here, right? You need to win the one to get back onto the point, and you need to win the overtime point. So if you can group as a team and get 5, a stagger here is literally deadly for Valpo. They will need a hero play if they get staggered, as Fusick does get pulled off here, but the gates are open for Valpo, and they're going to look to try and get this right side open. Fusick with the first kill on Venture. That's going to be huge because Venture ult is down now. They used it right after it got canceled. Atlas with the second pick right there, and the third pick. Valpo team fighting is alive right now. They pick off the 3, looking for the 4th one in the back line as well. Woo Young jumping around, but I think Lycabus, it's just a matter of time before they get this kill, and Fusick walking it back up. Here's the dash in as well, but Fusick is not going to let that happen. The ult from Orisa, and that's going to close out the overtime. Valpo 100 to 99, tying this up 1-1.
Yeah, that was definitely much better. I like the switch to Orisa and not just trying to brute force it with Wrecking Ball. At that point, you know, there wasn't anyone to contest Roadhog, right? And he was consistently landing hooks and pulling one player out, whether it was a DPS or a support. And at that point, Wrecking Ball just didn't have enough damage coming from or with him into that backline if someone's found or enough sustain to really make it useful. Like, we've seen Fusick play Wrecking Ball and it'd be really good and he'd be quite a nuisance to the other team, but switching to the Orisa provides more damage and a little bit more sustain and the ability to let someone like Kiriko, who really doesn't have much movement compared to the other 4, or the other 3 on his team, be protected. So I think it's definitely beneficial for Meepo, and also just going to kind of have more health, being able to go golden and reflect all the bullets, or kind of, not reflect, but eat them essentially with the spinning spear.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Kiriko in comparison, right? Obviously, you have Swift Step, which is like one of the best abilities in the game for movement, but it's a cooldown, right? So it's like you use it for Roadhog hook to dash that. How do you dodge Genji? How do you dodge all the other things? So having Orisa, having somebody sit in the backline, but Fusick getting really, really aggressive here. You do have the Reaper swap for Illinois, but Lycabus just gets hit by that hook again, and Valpo is going to be down on the first fight. They're still playing aggressively around this corner, which I like. You're not giving up yet because, you know, it's not a lost fight at all. You just need another pick, but you have to try and break through that Reaper front line. Fusick almost with the flick on the spear. They're not going to be able to find it. Lycabus now getting back into the fight. You have Atlas on the right creating a lot of pressure just under the supports here, making sure that they're never comfortable around this back, which I like, but Cyberstellar with a really, really nice movement right to the left, be able to support that. That's going to be 2 down for Valpo, and it's cool stuff just walking up a little bit too far into that Roadhog line of sight, getting picked off right there, even though Fusick ate the hook, excuse me, and Valpo is just falling down kind of stagger after stagger here. You do have the TP from Meepo, so I don't think it's bad to walk up there, but Valpo definitely needs to regroup, especially with 30% on the clock.
Yeah, Fusik all online as well as Beepo, but the Kiriko and Wu Yang ults ready to go for this next push. I assume they'll
Yeah.
probably commit at least one here early to avoid any kind of push. You want to kind of trap them right here at this wall. Here comes a
Yep, and there's
Kasune
the
rush,
gates
but it's out of
instantly.
Meepo.
I love it. No, yeah, Meepo did a really good job at charging that early. Right now, the other team does have it, but it is rough because you're looking for any kind of picks here. And there's the Wuyong ult immediately coming from the side on Roadhog. You have to be careful. Like a bus is able to dodge it though. The Swift Tap's going to try and get Kiriko out of there for Illinois, and the pick is at least traded out for Valpo. It's going to be 1-for-1, but Don Dangles finds the hook on the kill, and like a bus, the tanks are just going back to back here. Fusik finds a spear there on the DPS, and now Valpo is pretty even on this fight. The only thing you have to worry about is ults here, but you don't have to worry about that when the Kiriko's dead. Atlas taking the kill in the back line, and then they're just walking down Roadhog here in the back. Cyberstellar tries to help out, but Fusik just finds him again, and that's going to be a one fight for Valpo, pushing them out. You do blow ult there, but I mean, blowing ult to win a fight is very worth it, even if they're up in the ult economy, right?
Yeah, well,
you know, gotta use it somehow.
We're actually going to be up in ult economy coming into this next fight as they look for that Reaper ult to come online. But the Orisa Spear could go huge. Like a bus picked off very early, though. Not going to be good. Trade for a Wu Yang, though, so not the end of the world. This pull out of Orisa could go huge, but they need to be careful. Genji and Reaper are going to be looking to get behind. There's that. Oh,
There's the
everything's
Roadhog
getting
ult.
dumped
Yeah,
along with the gates.
Beat's immediately going to come out, though. You have Reaper on this right side. You have to be careful because Genji is diving your back as well. It's a really nice cleanse to at least keep the supports alive, and now Lycabus is looking to capitalize, and he does. Although Atlas gets trade out, you at least go 1-for-1 with the DPS. You still have Fusik in a really, really aggressive position. The hook is going to land. You have to be careful about this Reaper on the backside, and his cool stuff is keeping it alive, but Lycabus's blade is out, and it is firing. That's going to be 2 down. Fusik picks up the 3rd one, and Valpo with another 1 fight, playing this extremely well with how split they're playing these fights. 80% on the clock, and Valpo now has realistically 1.5 fights left, right? You have to win 1 fight, and then you have to beat the staggers out as well. But Cyberstellar does have Death Blossom available, but they're just damaging him so much here. Even with the Wuyang pocket, it's not enough. Lycabus jumps aggressively over top, finds the headshots, and that's a great pick for Valpo. 98%, and they don't have Death Blossom. They do have Blade, though. Illinois pops it out, and they're looking for it, but the kill in the backline is going to be huge. Atlas finds it. Fusik gets the 3rd. The 4th one that's left is the tank, and then it's cool stuff. Right click is going to finish that. Valpo winning 2-1 in this first map of Ilios. Whew.
Yeah, great. You know what? You were in favor of it. I was a little questionable about popping the gates out of Meepo there early in both fights, but it paid off, you know? And I would have expected Illinois to respond immediately, you know? You pop your gates a second or 2 after, you know? There's probably not enough damage coming out to eliminate your team, and you're going to be able to sustain enough. And now your gates is actually going to outlast theirs and provide you some advantage into that fight, but they just saved onto it, and then along with pretty much everything else they had, saved it, and it was just too late. Valpo was able to move up into the spawn and just use the delay with the Orisa spinning spear and the boop out of Lucio to kind of prevent it, and then that Lycabus pick pretty much sealed the deal, I think.
Yep, no, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a rule of thumb in Overwatch, especially like because I'm a support player. I mainly play like Ana Kiriko. That's what I do. Not nearly as good as these players, but it's kind of the rule of thumb that especially when you lose that first objective, if you can build your ult first, you need to pop it first. Because that ult, especially Kiriko ult, is so huge for Valpo to at least get pressure on the map, because you never want to be fighting for that pressure just blank. You need to use that ultimate and get it out. And biggest issue that we've seen Valpo, this team, have before is that they kind of just don't use their ultimates, right? Like we do really good at managing our ults, and when fights we don't overplay our ults, but sometimes that leads us to not using it. So I really like how aggressive Meepo is being today. Meepo has started these fights, especially showing up with a lot of the shots as well. It's just setting the tone for this backline, and it is really, really nice. And obviously, you know, you can't go wrong when NH Cool Stuff drops a 4K in one of the maps, right? You know, you love to see him flying around a little bit. But overall, you know, obviously Illinois, a very strong team, but a very, very strong showing and way to be competitive, as it looks like our next map we're going to be moving to as we update our map list here is going to be Kings Row. You know, obviously, if Aubrey was in the caster's booth, she'd say Scrims Row, like always, right? Because this is the map that everybody loves to scrim. This is the map that everybody loves to play, and I think every series we've seen so far has had Kings Row second?
There was one without you that did not, and we were
Ooh,
shocked.
okay. It
Everyone you've been on
might
has
be a
been
me
King's
thing
Row,
then. Yeah,
but
I
we
think
did see one. It might have been the most recent one. I don't know if you were on for the most recent one, but
yeah,
I think it was an Academy game even that didn't have King's Row. So, but yeah, I mean, like 9 times out of 10,
yeah,
they're gonna ban the Lucio, and I mean,
makes sense.
how can you not?
Yep. I honestly, not a lot of teams have been banning Lucio against us. Like
Nah,
that is NH Cool Stuff's character, right? But
for
I,
sure.
I feel like obviously, they banned the Hazard, which we know Fusick likes to play. Ana is down because both Lycabus and most Lycabus and Daring play Genji, right? So you kind of don't want that combo, and Ana, just being one of the strongest supports in the game. But now I feel like you're given that kind of respect to NH Cool Stuff, who deserves it, who has been
Yeah.
popping off recently as Lucio, especially. That's what that dude does, right? Like you do it well. So
Yeah, and I mean, if anyone on the team has a character, it's him.
yep,
It's him
yep,
and Lucio.
yep.
There's everyone else, I guess Beepo we really only see play on Kiriko, but I think that's because Kiriko's your best support in the game
Yes.
by far.
There's
But
so much that Kiriko provides to you. Plus, Kiriko Lucio backline is a real thing. That is like what teams like to run. So it's kind of perfect. You have the Lucio guy, and then you have like Meepo who can play Kiriko really well.
yeah,
Why even switch him off? Like at that point, just run it.
yep. Um, so we got it ready, but we didn't find out what Valpo banned.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, they're going to have used the correct NECC method and typed it in League OS,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
we don't have access to that chat.
we're always laughing. We're like, yeah, I really wish they would type it in chat and in League OS, but now it's our team that's only typing it in League OS. So
Yeah,
we deserve this, but it's all right.
possibly.
Well, honestly, bans are one thing. We saw what they wanted to ban at least, so shouldn't be too worried about it. But we're just gonna wait to load in here. I think we're just paused for a tiny bit. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Yeah. Oh, nope, we got the ban. We
Oh,
spoke too soon. We
ban
spoke too
Venture.
soon.
Okay, I like that. They were a very very strong champ in that
Hmm.
last pick because Atlas going monstrous on it. But I like the idea that if you don't have Lucio available to you,
Yeah.
Valpo's ban being Venture because Cyberstellar plays a ton of Venture, you kind of don't want them out tempoing you anymore, right? You don't want to. You're used to the team comp that allows Fusick, Atlas, and NH Cool Stuff to fly in your backline. So if you take out one of those, why try to play that team comp? Just shift your focus, ban the Venture. I like it. Can't complain. Can't complain. But as we move on to Scrims row, I was gonna say Kings row, but I actually subconsciously said Scrims row. I think there's Overwatch players have had a serious effect on my mental, and I don't blame them for it in all honesty.
So we're actually going to see the Wu Yang come out here. I was curious to see what replaces Lucio. Daring going to go for the pick on Widow right away. Let's see if that pick. Do we want to hop on board here and see if he can pull it off? That's not
Honestly,
Daring.
I like it.
Intriguing.
You think?
Here's the thing.
I do not feel
Widow
like
is really strong this patch.
mighty.
The only buff that she really got was like a mine like augment buff, which was like okay, it was pretty good. But it's more so that like with the way that the meta shifts, I feel like if you can play Widow, you should. But it's one of those questions where in competitive play, where Widow can be really really easily targeted. I am interested to see how this pops up because you have Lycabus on Hanzo, and I love it. We've seen Lycabus on Hanzo. Lycabus kind of just likes playing the Shimada brothers, right? Like we know this, but his Hanzo can be extremely filthy, and Atlas on the Reaper as well, just holding off the left side. I feel like it works really really well. It's just that Hanzo has a rough time sometimes into Widow, because if you can't find the angle for it, Widow will just have first peek. But Cyberstellar actually winning out on the left side here because a quick pick is going to push it in. Reaper going really, really low there, but kind of turtled up on the left side. And it's cool stuff on the Wu Young as well. So now the dash in, Fusick, and they're going to look to try and punish Reinhardt right now. There's a lot of charge. Fusick taking a ton of damage, but there's just not enough out of the side of Valpo. The TP in as well from Reaper up to the top side, and now they control a lot of the space because Valpo just kind of had to give it with this early pick. They get the first checkpoint, but that's a huge pin on Atlas. Cyberstellar drops down as well and kills Lycabus, and now the TP in the backline on Wooyoung. They're looking for some kind of pick, but the Wraith mode is going to be able to at least get them out, and Valpo falling apart a little bit here off the early pick, and now Reinhardt dashing up and going to create a little bit of space here because you have that Widow on that high ground. I like the comp out of Illinois, and I think the biggest thing that I enjoy right now about how they're playing it is that they are taking a comp with a sniper in it, and they are not playing behind the sniper. Every time we see this with teams struggling to play with Widowmaker because they play extremely slow waiting for Widowmaker. Widowmaker applies enough pressure into herself. You just need to walk up, but you're going to see they are walking up right now as Illinois immediately with the hammer strike just going to slap down. Fusick also falls. That's going to be 3 down for the side of Valpo. The slam down for Wooyoung is going to be able to at least create a little bit of space, but Hanzo is just stuck out right there, and all that's left is NH cool stuff on the Wooyoung. Whew. I mean, Valpo is kind of finding a really, really rough footing right now. You're going to have Fusick switch to Ramatra. I like it. Obviously, hardest point to take in this map is map 3, point 3.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So nothing to be too worried about right now. But Illinois has definitely made the change at least a little bit and been, all right, we're just going to run straight at you. We are not waiting for picks. We're not waiting for you to engage. We are going to be the first people to engage because when you have the Reinhardt who likes to get aggressive like that, it's going to be huge. But Lycabus finally getting the first pick off there, and then immediately the ult in the back line there. Juno for Illinois going to pop that, but the gates are going to open for Valpo. Atlas does fall, so it's going to be a trade 1-for-1 as the respawns start to pop up now. A little bit of stalemate as Fusick looking in the back line. You have to help out Lycabus a little bit. Don Dangles goes a little too far, and Fusick collapses on that. Going to be able to pick off the tank, and that is going to be the first push killed for the side of Illinois. Valpo getting a little bit of their footing back as Fusick now going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure. I like this. You kind of swapped off the Zarya because you're able to throw that, you're able to switch out of your melee mode. It's a good matchup into Ramatra, and also with the range that you have, it's nice to be able to just hold down lines of sight against Widowmaker to make sure she doesn't have the easiest peaks in the world. So now Lycabus on the top side, you're going to have the gates open for Illinois, and this is their push. There's immediately Hanzo ult as well. Don Dangle's taking so much damage, but the cleanse is going to be huge. Evo picks up the first one. Daring gets a headshot in the backline as well, and then the Death Blossom just to add insult to injury for Cyberstellar. That's going to be 4 down for the side of Valpo, and another clean wipe. They did use 2 ults though. Or 3 ults, excuse me. One of them was Widowmaker ult, so obviously, you know, we don't count that really as a team fighting ult, more so just like a dangerous extra intel. But now Valpo kind of on the back foot here. You don't have the best ult economy, right? You still have to deal with Reinhardt ult, which is kind of rough, especially for this angle, because I feel like this is where Reinhardts love to play. They love this corner because this is like the easiest shatter angle in the world. If you can find anybody here, you just have to be careful about Ramatra. I feel like if Ramatra walks up with ult, now you're going to have Atlas TP immediately up to the high ground, trying to just fight this off a little bit. Going to get pushed off by the Reaper, but you at least shoved off the Widowmaker out of that spot. And then immediately there's the hammer down coming from Reinhardt, and there's the immediate trade ult from Fusick. Atlas picks off one in the backline. Fusick gets another one. The shot back from Reinhardt trying to just peel for Fusick. It is going to work, but by that time, everybody else from Illinois is dead as Valpo wins out the fight there. Going to be able to pop only 1 ult, which is giant. We were talking about this pre-match. Valpo is really good at not wasting ultimates. They saw Fusick was getting so much out of that. Atlas didn't need to pop it. Just used the abilities here, kind of held off on that, and now Valpo set themselves up to have a really, really good ult economy because you have one of your DPS swap off. You don't have the Widowmaker charged up anymore, but Lycabus just gets TP'd on there and doesn't find the headshot from the Reaper, just not timing it up well enough, as there's immediately the Juno ult as well. Probably looking for a Death Blossom in the back after this Juno ult is down. Yep, there it is, but it's going to get Wraith Mode and Kiriko's Shadow stepped, and now Atlas is just in a really rough spot with no Wraith Mode. They're going to pop out to the side. Daring picks off the second one. The gates are open, but already you have a tank and a DPS down, so Valpo, it's really, really late for them. Lycabus not being able to find a lot of these shots here. Get enough for the ult though, so you do have one last final push. You're going to time it a little bit with the respawns. There's the Mauga coming out from Fusick as well, and here comes the stomp onto point. You have a lot of sustain and a lot of solo sustain so that your team can stay alive. Daring immediately pushes to the backline, going to be able to trade one, but Fusick gets the kill off, so Valpo is going for 4 here. Really, really nice buffer on the dash there as well, with Atlas with the second kill. Immediately an aggressive TP to the backline, going to be able to find Juno. That's the second kill for him. Atlas is still working on the back while Fusick dashes around. Meepo picking off that kill, and Valpo being able to clear out this team right before the objective. 4 meters left, but you still have 2 minutes, so you are still not out of the danger zone yet. You have 3 ultimates coming up for the side of Illinois. No support ults, though. So that is big. I think if you want to play against this, right, you really don't want to try and take a 5v5, especially when you have Cassidy and Death Blossom and, what's it called, Reinhardt ult. I forgot the name of it, but Earth Shatter. Oh my goodness. But now immediately dash up to the side. You're gonna see this Reaper is really good at taking aggressive angles, but a bad Death Blossom right there, and Lycobus just hits the right click, switching to the other Shimada brother. They're gonna be able to trade off one. Don Dangles finds a Fire Strike right there for the pick, and then a Fusick immediately with a really nice shot, and a Wu Yang ult is just gonna clear so much space. 2 falling down for the side of Illinois, and that push is just completely shattered. That's another minute off the clock, and that's 1 ult off the clock as well. Daried and Don Dangles are still holding their ultimates, but at this point, Valpo now has gates. They are almost going to have Atlas ult. It depends on how Atlas plays this early fight. I feel like it's really rough if you get TP'd on early by Cyberstellar. You have to keep eyes on this Reaper. But Cassidy's going to have to just find an angle to open up that isn't right in front of Ramatra. And there's immediately the hammer down. They're going to look for something. Not Ramatra, excuse me, Orisa. But there's the Juno as well. The gates are going to open, and it is just an all-out brawl on this objective. Fusick pushed in the backline, and his cool stuff going to be the first one to fall. Fusick trying to use at least a little bit of damage, but it is just a clean wipe for Illinois. An extremely, extremely well-played match. And that is going to be round 1, full cap objective for Illinois. You know, we were talking about when you're losing on point and you have the ultimate advantage, the best thing you want to do is to pop ultimate advantage to get yourself on there. I think Valpo kind of got that used against them a little bit there, and they were not expecting it.
Yeah, all things considered, though, they were through the second point and like about halfway through this third one with like 4 minutes remaining, and they only got there with 40 seconds. So while Valpo obviously wants to stop that and not allow them to get 3 points and only allow them to get 2, that was a great recovery, all things considered here. And I think honestly we've seen more success on them when they're playing hybrid to be the push as opposed to the defense. I feel like they struggle a little bit on that defense. They're actually breaking out a character we have not seen from anyone, either team,
The
all
Diva,
year.
yeah. So for anybody that's unfamiliar, Fusick is kind of the Diva guy. Back when, like, you know, Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2, Fusick queued a bunch of Diva. Like, Diva was the pick for him. But then Diva fell really hard out of the meta, just, you know, out of Zarya being extremely strong, counter picks getting nerfed out. But then when augments came back into the game, Diva got such a big power boost that Fusick kind of fell back in love again, like, you know, found the pick again. So if this is the pick to open up this match, I will be extremely happy for it, because Fusick is walking up. You're going to see Illinois is probably going to wait to just drop onto the point. They don't want to deal with an early dive comp or the picks, kind of like Valpo struggled with. But Hanzo giving a lot of intel, at least, to see what kind of picks they have, as Atlas immediately walks around the side. You're now playing for the TP, but obviously, you know, when you have the Reinhardt, it's not a bad idea to play for that dive, as immediately the dash to the backline, he is just going to leave it alone, and Diva's going to try and just trade the dash right there. You have the setup now, a really nice cleanse. Don Dangle is kind of stuck in this corner here. The team's going to have to group around. Fusick is just playing around this corner. Really, really nice. The lead on Darling, and that's going to be the first pick. Fusick ISOing right there. Atlas using the Wraith Form to kind of get out of that. And Lycobus with the double kill in the backline. 1 DPS, 1 support. He's going to trade for that. But brother, I will take that sacrifice, because Fusick is now on point. Don Dangles falls. Meepo getting the final kill. And Valpo taking the capture with the early pressure.
They're still going, actually. Looking to push up, trying to find the Juno. But with Juno's ability to get vertical, actually, gonna be rough to follow. But I think Valpo actually capped that faster than Illinois did, and they grabbed that first objective very fast in the first one with Valpo on defense.
Yeah. The only like downside with that is that you have one person on point right now. You have a Tracer just kind of holding this off, because I like this from Illinois. You send the Tracer back here because the last thing you want is Valpo creating space up front, because now they're just going to get pushed back. Obviously, you don't have one of your support. Dondangle falling really, really low. You're going to try and pop this, and you have the ult. Yeah, there's the Hanzo ult. I like it. You're just going to pop it to the corner. Dondangle's stuck in a really rough spot as Atlas finds him right there. And you, honestly, I believe in Atlas in this fight. 1v3, you take this right now. There's the cleanse out immediately. Like a bus drops down for the side. Going to be able to trade 1-for-1. You have the Death Blossom, and you have the healing on you from the backside as well. So I think this is good for Valpo. They cleared out this angle. I was talking about, I like what Illinois was doing, because when you kind of play this objective, you saw even when Valpo was on defense, the Reinhardt immediately dash up and not let them take that corner, because that corner is extremely hard for defense to, extremely hard for offense to break through. So Valpo now finding those picks is going to be big, but Dondangles has a huge shatter moment here, especially with Derry finding the first pick on NH Cool Stuff in the backline. Falling really, really low, though. The cleanse is going to be used out, and Fusick is going to be able to trade one. Fusick trades the second one, looking for the third one with Atlas, going to be able to find that. And Valpo, again, just playing patient, and then immediately these kills are just flying in. They are finding these team fights as Atlas gets a double kill, gets the melee, TP's back up for this space. You have Tracer in the backline, but honestly, who cares at this point?
They're kind of just ignoring Tracer, and it's, I think, hurting Illinois that they don't have a fifth player here to help with the point. Wu Yang's just doing a great job of kind of bullying Tracer away with his little orbs that he can throw around corners. Here comes everything.
Oh, that's a huge shadow coming out, but Fusick's going to be able to trade one. That's 2 down for the side of Valpo, but Fusick is getting it at least a little bit out. 3 down, Valpo is still, you have Fusick and you have Atlas on point here. Fusick immediately popping the self-destruct, just trying to stay alive a little bit for a fight, because you know Atlas has Death Blossom, so this fight can turn. Fusick now dashing back up, and it looks like Atlas is not comfortable with popping it, not really, you know, the target that you like. I like that. Play a little bit more patient, give yourself another time, especially because they popped 3 ultimates there, right? You had Earth Shatter, Pulse Bomb, and you had Gates open, right? So Valpo also popping 3 ults, but Fusick was popping it to not stagger, which I like. It's mainly just your supports that you have to play around now. So you do have to fight into Juno, which is a little bit rough, but I feel like that's something you pop. Or you just kill him instantly, because Atlas finds a pick and then drops down with the Death Blossom. Fusick and Lycabas showing up, and Valpo, in the blink of an eye before I can even catch it, has just ended this team fight. As Tracer dashes on, but with not enough health, Valpo taking the objective. Woo!
Yeah, 4 minutes here on this last bit of point. Obviously have to take it all the way because Illinois did, or this map will end here. But gonna have the Lycabas ult ready, be able to zone. High Noon is up and available, and Juno's Beam. But I mean, Valpo already kind of getting to the halfway mark here. A little bit of a Reaper fight going. They did switch to Zarya, so counter-picking the D.Va. But if D.Va doesn't interact with Zarya,
yeah,
is it that big of an issue? We haven't seen Fusick on D.Va interact with Reinhardt at all, so
yeah, I honestly, ooh, this could be a huge pick. One shot, it doesn't find it. Atlas going down a little bit low. You're gonna have immediately the Juno ult popped out, but NH Cool Stuff already finds the pick. This is gonna be big. If Lycabas can back up and find some kind of angle for Hanzo, there it is! Pops the Hanzo ult and be able to get one. The tank is just stuck on point right now. Zarya Bubble immediately gets hit. The cleanse coming out, but it's not gonna be enough. Fusick dashes him, and now the rest of Illinois is pushed to the back line. 3 minutes left on the clock, and Valpo's on final approach. You have the bomb here. Yeah, this is great for sitting in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, just push this. They have the Zenyatta switch immediately, but this is just such a good angle. And they pushed on, but they can't even get on point. Fusick taking up so much space with that, and that's going to be round 2. Valpo tying it up 3-3 with the time advantage.
Yeah, a huge time advantage as well. Triple the amount of time.
Yep.
That Illinois is going to have here. And, you know, I talked about that switch to Zarya and Fusick not interacting. He didn't even care. He interacted and it still paid off. Like he might just, you might be onto something here. His D.Va might just be the character for him.
I'm telling you, Fusick D.Va does not work like other divas. That, and also that round more so than a lot of them, Atlas was setting the tone for these fights. Every single fight was started with an Atlas pick, right? If Lycabas wasn't throwing down some crazy backline dive, Atlas had some weird TP that was able to find these kind of like tempo picks. Fusick is now just kind of waiting for his DPS to kind of put the work in before he dashes in, and it's paying off in just spades here. But you're gonna see the hazard drop out for Dondangles here for the side of Illinois. I like it.
Yeah, I think the comp has to switch away from what they were using just because they only have a minute.
Yeah.
You know, if you get stalled out twice here, pretty much all of your time's gone. Like, yeah, you're at the first set of spot, or you're at the spa and going to the first objective, and it's not that far. But this is just such a tough choke to get through right here with the walls that are split open. And, playing pretty much full dive here. I mean, I don't know if you consider Moira a dive, but
Yeah, she's really slippery. I think that's the best thing with this comp is that when you play with the tank that likes to go in, you just need to be slippery. So they're immediately going to push this high ground, and Illinois already has the space that they want, so Valpo has to kind of play underneath a little bit. Meepo immediately dashing in. I think you're still playing a little bit careful. You have to play off Fusick. Fusick dashing in, and he's just in the face of 5 of them right now. A huge Matrix site. They're going to delete a lot. Atlas taking a little bit of damage, going to be able to reset, and they still haven't touched the point yet, but immediately the TP in the backline, Wooyoung and Hanzo going to be able to push off Reaper there, and now Valpo diving up for the front, looking for the first pick on Kiriko. Kiriko switch steps back, but Like a Bus is going to be able to use that to kill Reaper, kill Genji. That's going to be 2 down. Like a Bus cannot be stopped because Valpo is on this point and fighting. Atlas picks off the 3rd one, Fusick finds the 4th, and all that's left is Don Dangles on the point. That's going to be tank. There's no touch, and that's going to be 0% for the side of Illinois. Valpo, 3 minutes left on the clock to win this game.
I mean, they need a singular percent. One touch. That means pretty much someone from Illinois has to be standing in the point for the next 3 minutes. You know, you can't leave. I don't even know what you play at that point because as soon as one person falls, this is probably going to crumble. There's no shot they're getting out of spawn to get back.
I personally here, right, obviously you can't play the picks that you were going for. I don't think Ramatra is bad. I think the issue with like playing like a Reinhardt, okay, Don Dangle's going Diva. I don't mind that. You give yourself a lot of mobility. It's just more so that like usually when you think of points, right, you think of like the Orisa, you think of like the Reinhardt, but in all honesty, you don't have the verticality or the range to play on a King Zero point. But Diva gives a little bit more mobility. You have Defense Matrix, which is like one of the best defensive abilities for holding down an area. I like it. But Valpo just sticking with what they know, going with the Mauga. Ooh. Fusick pulling the Mauga out. I like it.
You know, plenty of self-sustain, the ability to kind of run and dive on the point and get in the way right away, make it hectic fast. Now, switching back to a Diva, I wonder if that'll change once they realize that it's a bit of a mirror matchup here.
Yep, and you have the Sim turrets out. This time we're sticking with Sim just to slow down a little bit. You have a lot of setup because they kind of have to play for time here, right? You're trying to pull out as much time as you can in all of these pushes because Valpo is already through the door. Atlas on the left, and he's kind of in the spot that he wants to be in because now he has a good TP angle to the back. They take out the Sim turrets. They're forced off a little bit here. They do need first checkpoint, right? So you are playing for a little bit of damage. Take out the Sim turret in the back, and Valpo playing this passively. I like how rough pick for Atlas not being able to get out of there just in time, just kind of bursted a little bit too hard by the DPS there. Like a Bus being forced to back up, but that's another pick for Valpo, and you don't have to panic yet. This is why you won with the time advantage, right? And you can't lose.
Yeah,
That's the positive here, is that you cannot lose.
Play Counterwatch because it is not worth their tank dying.
Exactly. Like, you just gotta walk up a little bit here because Fusick immediately pops it. Hey, the Diva player knows what he wants to play in the Diva. I like that. There's Fusick walking up here. Valpo, you have Atlas on the top TP. Yep, you're gonna have to force a little bit of Diva pressure out of that. Diva actually doesn't make it up there. Gonna have to try and use the Sim turret, but the Sim turret doesn't work as Cool Stuff fights the first kill here for Valpo, and that's gonna be one. Cool Stuff finds a second one in the backline. This dude's a monster. There's the Wooyoung on the Genji, and they all just walked off point.
Yep.
There's nothing they can do at that point in Valpo. Being able to take it with the second map here, going up 2-0. Hello, Box.
Amazon Prime. Someone ordered Amazon Prime there.
Yeah, what the? Oh, we got hidden Solid Snake reference in the Overwatch 2 loading screen, I guess. But yeah, this hold initially for Valpo was insane. I know it didn't work out properly for them in the end, but they did at least put up enough time, and you saw that was literally the difference between them winning that match, was that they just did not have time. They had to win one fight, while Valpo was able to lose a fight and still come back and win that map. You know, time was everything in that round, and Valpo going up 2-0 in the series. Whew. Love to see it. I got no complaints right now. They're firing on all cylinders because this Illinois team is not a pushover. These guys are not anything. These guys are not anything to play with, but they
Nope.
are. Valpo is just kicking it in gear. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they're being flexible. Sometimes it's hard to want to switch characters, especially if you have a high ultimate percentage built up
Mhm.
to be comfortable to just let that go.
Yep.
Because obviously, that's kind of the lifeblood of the game is being able to use your ultimate and use it well. But Valpo has not cared. Fusick has just been willing to swap at any point needed. Also, being able to go in and out of spawn there in that fight where they held on for almost all 3 minutes that they had left,
Oh
as
yeah.
the point was basically at the end, in and out and manage it. And I would have loved to be able to listen in and hear what that sounded like as they're like fighting, for 1 inch of space for
Yeah.
3 minutes and not giving it up. I'm sure that sounded great. But going into this next one, loser gets to pick map mode or mode, probably map as well, I think,
Yes.
in
Yeah.
NECC. So Illinois' pick, they pick Kings Row Hybrid. The past couple times we've seen Flashpoint, which I'm kind of a fan of. It's kind of just like Hardpoint in Call of Duty. So,
Sorry about that. Yeah. It's I always like Flashpoint. Just watching it. Yeah. Junkertown. We're actually going to a push map. I like it. Um, Going to Junkertown. It looks like. Yeah, I usually like Flashpoint. It's just exciting. It feels like one of the faster paced matches in this game because you're constantly moving objective. But
yeah.
Junkertown's gonna be interesting because Valpo has kind of been playing with those weird angles, and I feel like this first map especially, you have a couple of cool Reaper spots, but
Mhm.
not nearly as many. But if we can really quick, I want to take a slight break before we hop into this because I need to go grab some water. But we will be back at the start of map 3. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, for the start of our game 3, or map 3, excuse me, of this Valpo Varsity Overwatch. So far, Valpo is up 2-0 in some really, really close fought games, but Valpo coming out on top as well. Moving into our third map, Junkertown. And Valpo will be making a little bit of a roster switch here. They are going to be subbing like a bus for L. L going to be on the Reaper, Atlas going on the Tracer. So you're going to go double flex DPS, which I like. I'm not sure if double flex is as strong as it was last patch, in all honesty. Not like doubting how strong this is right now, but it just genuinely I don't know. But we're gonna have NH cool stuff on Lifeweaver, which is interesting. I don't think we've seen Lifeweaver on. Granted, I don't think we've seen much Junkertown anyways. But we're gonna see Spider-Man hanging up on the top silo over here.
Yeah.
I like this. Fusick just trying to find a little bit of an angle. He's sneaking. Oh, he didn't get the. There's the grapple, but hello! Yeah, he's just gonna peek out immediately, and this is what Wrecking Ball does. As you're gonna now see the pick, at least from the side. You have Atlas as well with Tracer, and this duo has just been dirty this whole series as Atlas dashing back. Fusick just loves playing with this team. He loves playing with these DPS because these DPS just follow him wherever he goes. And it's cool stuff. Looking for a little bit of an angle in the back. I like the range and kind of the verticality that Lifeweaver gives you, and I feel like the ult is huge as Fusick dashes back around. The shield going to be so strong that L also pressuring up, right? We've seen L on this Reaper on the Mei as well. Like these kind of flex DPS, L does extremely well on, so I like this pick going with the double flex. You don't really want to run hit scan, but as the client lag spiked, L also gets kind of stunned out by Cassidy there, and I think they're kind of having issues right now with the double hit scan that it's funny, we're running double flex, they're running double hit scan as 2 fall down for the side of Valpo, and they are pushed to this back. Fusick going to be able to at least trade out 1 to slow down this push. You don't have one of your DPS, but Illinois is just so far in like Valpo's spawn at the moment that they really have to play a little bit worried. There's the hindrance from Wooyoung, but Wooyoung is going to be forced back a little bit. Atlas not going to be able to find that pick. Tracer being extremely strong, whether it's just due to a bug or just due to Tracer being extremely strong, but 18 health left, and I don't think, the 2 on the side of Illinois did not see tiny health Fusick rolling back around the backside there as Junker Queen coming out for the side of Illinois. Atlas being able to take 1 pick in the back line, looking for the second one. The scout is going to just take off a little bit, and they do crush this Illinois push here before the first objective, which I like. And now you're getting the first round of ultimates up. Both ultimates up for the side of Valpo. Both supports, I mean, that's just by nature of the supports staying alive the longest, right? Like, they did not get picked this whole fight, which is something that they've been doing extremely well this whole series. So I feel like having these ultimates is going to be huge to play. And it's cool stuff. Almost falling low. Swear if I cast or curse that, I would just stop speaking for like 5 seconds. But Fusick immediately going to dash in. You have the life grip. You're seeing the synergy kind of just open up now as Atlas dashes to the back. You have recall at least a little bit here. L still taking a little bit of pressure, trying to look around the side. You have to be careful about the hit scans, but now you're just jumping to this bridge. And Valpo is taking such staggered fights, but now they eventually just focus up, and Atlas and L both fall almost at the same time. And we're back into the same situation where Fusick is alone, kind of just creating pressure on point while the supports have to try and fight for themselves. You have the Tree of Life open, but Valpo is just playing to survive here. But Meepo falls down. NH Cool Stuff, the only one left alive on the point, going to be able to toss the flower, try to just bounce out, but it's not going to be enough. Yeah, the final shot from Cassidy, they're going to be able to find that, and the healing is just too much. They cannot kill Daring. I feel like the DPS is just lacking a little bit because Illinois is grouping way harder than Valpo expects. You're going to have the TP on the point. They are playing to contest this, but L dashes up instantly. You still have, you didn't have area denial, but you have the gates open. At least Atlas going to be able to trade off 1, and there's the gates open for the side of Illinois as well. Daring picks off the first one. They're going to look for a trade. Atlas finds a double kill, looking for the triple kill in the backline as well. Wooyoung is right there. The Wooyoung ult comes out, but Atlas finishes it off. A 3K for him. Daring is in a great spot, though, and you still have the Junker Queen on the point. You have to be careful because there's nobody contesting, and that's going to be first objective for Valpo. NH Cool Stuff falls to the dagger, and Valpo is forced to back up now. Even though Atlas dropped the 3K, you just had too much pressure right there with the gates and Soldier that Valpo really, really needs to find an answer for this.
Yeah, 3 ults still up on the side of Illinois as well, both DPS and the Junker Queen, to make them go purple and not be able to be healed. This could be a dangerous combo if they use it correctly and are able to land it on a majority of the team.
That's big. Yeah, you jump down on Junker Queen. That's a huge, huge pick right there, being able to isolate her. And that's probably going to kill at least a little bit of this push if Valpo wants to walk up, especially knowing that you don't really have to use anything, but you could use Tracer ult because Tracer comes up so fast.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can kind of just chill out for a little bit and take the space that you need with that kind of pick. So that's big. Valpo has 3 ults coming up here. It's literally almost completely even for both sides. Valpo up a teensy bit in ult economy, so you want to see how they want to play this. A huge pulse bomb, at least going to force out a lot of cooldowns out of them, and then immediately Junker Queen ult, and it's cool stuff, be able to get the first kill there. The anti is going to be big, but Atlas is dashing around the back, and Valpo plays this extremely slow. The area denial is going to be great for forcing that out, but Atlas gets stuck in a bad position, going to be able to get picked out. It is 4v4 here. It's Fusick just dangly, hello, dangling around the backside there. Immediately the dash up, looking for the isolation on Cassidy, tries to get some kind of hit in the L with the Death Blossom, going to be able to pick off 1 in the background. That's going to be a huge pick on the support. L with the double kill, Fusick with the third one in the back, and Valpo shuts down another push here. You don't have any ultimates, which is the downside, but the ultimates worked, which is the upside. So you can't complain as they are just walking down now, and that's a great stagger on Soldier. They are going to be delayed even a little bit longer here. Minute 30 left on the clock.
Yeah, swapping over off of the Life Weaver onto the Wu Yang, I think that was beneficial. And here we see the Doomfist coming out, actually. Both support ultimates getting ready to come online for both teams. And this is a great land onto Soldier, able to keep it alive to get to that full pack.
The wave just too much, yeah. Full pack and healing right there was too much, and now Evo with a double kill for the side of Illinois. You're going to pop the gates really late, though. They are seeing something here. Valpo really wants to fight this, but Meepo just dashes really far away from the gates, and that just might be a wasted ult. I feel like I like the idea of pushing that, but you just didn't have the team with you there, and not getting the pick on Cassidy was really, really rough, as now you're going to see how dangerous they are pushing to this backline, and Valpo is forced to try and just give up this objective. No! Fusic dashes in, going to be able to use the Zarya bubble that he gets from his augment now. There's the Cassidy ult in the backline. It fires, isn't able to find any picks, but Atlas is going to be the first one to fall. The wave is going to be able to trade. At least Meepo gets one, but Fusic is just in such a dangerous spot. These two supports just have no backline here. Basically, have no front line to play off of, and Doomfist is just diving them on repeat here. It's going to be a little bit rough. Fusic dashes to the back. Meepo going to use Swift Step to try and back out of there. They're going to be able to at least escape with a little bit of their lives. Soldier overstepping a little bit there, and now Fusic going to try and spin around this corner. You have Atlas, swapping to the Venture. Obviously, Venture not banned anymore, so going to put him on a little bit more of a comfort spot, but I'm wondering if Valpo, if the answer to this is more dive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it might be, because Fusic immediately finds the pick right there off the dive, and now pops the Zarya bubble. Just going to be able to dash around. Doomfist diving again to the back line. Gonna have to be careful a little bit. L swapping to the Soldier, give him a little bit of hit scan, a little bit of range on this third point. I like that answer. We've seen L on Soldier as well. We've seen him do numbers on that character, so I like this pick. I like kind of the confidence that you show being able to play into the mirror. Doomfist drops down to the back, does find the stun, but there's at least a lot of healing there to back him up. Fusic still trying to create a little bit of pressure. Minute left on the clock. They are halfway to the third objective. You want to see how Valpo wants to play this. A pick on Atlas would be deadly for Valpo, but Atlas is able to get out of there with a little bit of healing. Valpo able to reset. You have to try and play off this top side. Fusic looks for the dash, doesn't find it on the top, and now 3 drop down, 4 drop down for the side. Meteor Strike comes out of Doomfist as well to try and save him. You gotta be careful about the backline. Yep, there it is. Doomfist trying to dash away a little bit. A great stun right there, and there's the Wu Yang ult as well. L gonna be able to get knocked down, but Fusic trying to create a little bit of pressure, dashes him back out. Doomfist doesn't find the hit. There's immediately the pick as well. Cassidy steps up too far, and now Fusic is looking to make it 2. He finds one. Soldier sitting in the healing, but it's not going to be enough. Picks off the second kill. Don Dangles is able to trade a DPS for DPS, but Valpo already has the objective. Atlas trading in. That's going to be 3 down, trying to make it forward. Kiriko Swift Steps on the point. You still have the Doomfist there, but it's not going to be for long. Valpo with a clean 5 kills right there in overtime, and there's nobody to step onto this point, being able to hold before third objective.
Yeah, great out of Valpo there to stop it. Once again, a little bit of deja vu, you know, kind of having to hang on there at the end. This time they do get it, and Illinois is only granted 2 points instead of that 3. So Valpo doesn't have to push it all the way this time to get us through. We actually just win as long as we get farther than that 87.75 meters.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what they choose here. If they're going to stick with the ball, I would doubt it. I don't think ball is going to be beneficial for pushing the point. Disruption, yes, but, you know, you kind of probably need your tank to stay in the area of everyone else, because they could just reverse dive, which we saw kind of happen in that first point. They are going to stick with it, though.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess Soldier Venture could kind of keep up. Yeah.
There's the Malga. I wouldn't be surprised if he swaps back to ball. I don't think it's so much, at least right now, of a comp issue. I feel like it's more Fusic is like, hand me the rock. Like, give me the rock. Like, let me set the tone, because he has been finding a lot of these great engages. So if he's going to do that on Malga, do it. If he's going to do it on ball, do it. Just give this dude the rock.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Malga mirror matchup. Tracer out of the side of Illinois. Venture still for Atlas. No support changes, though. Kiriko, Wu Yang both ways. What?
Yep. Yeah.
Ball?
Oh, there's
Okay.
the ball. Okay. Yeah,
Interesting.
he is literally hand me the ball, man. Just give me the rock. Because Fusick is trying to just set a little bit of tempo here, pushing to the left. Going to be able to trade out the Venture there, push them off the high ground, and that's going to push a little bit. You have Mauga kind of sitting on that bridge, so it is a rough spot to kind of hit because Mauga having Slam to being able to use the verticality is really, really dangerous for sitting on point. But you're going to see L try and just push up. You have Atlas taking a lot of pressure, and it looks like Illinois is just going to respect it, try to just back up. Right? When you have your DPS take health chunks like that so early, you really have to worry about just kind of a little bit of pressure as you have the Venture use his excuse me, yeah, you have
Pop out of the ground
yeah, you have
early.
Atlas use it, pop it too early, and now Atlas is able to trade that, and that's going to be the first kill, but they just collapse on Atlas right after that, knowing there's no cooldowns, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Fusick just gets stuck way, way too far in and not being able to get back out after the stomp. Valpo going to be able to trade this, but yeah, they're just going to take the space on it, back up a little bit. A stagger here is really, really rough for them, but they got a lot of space already. I like this. Play patient. You do not have to panic after that 2 picks. And Fusick flying right back in. He says, all right, I'm back on the map. Everybody go, just send it already, because he dashes in. You're going to have the slam down from Mauga and the dash up as well. Atlas almost being able to solo out Mauga. Mauga falling so low there. There's a lot of damage in that corner, and you're going to immediately push to this back line. Weyoung getting soloed out here looking for a kill, but Atlas going to be the first one to fall. Tracer finding the first kill. Atlas at least trading back a little bit. It's 1-for-1. Atlas with the double kill. Fusick falling down. It's again trading, but you have this Mauga in the back line. It's just so dangerous, and its cool stuff gets soloed out as Atlas also falls. Nothing else Meepo can do there with no switch step, and Valpo falls on another fight. I feel like, yeah, it's doing well to find these picks. Obviously, L gets picked first, which is never nice, but Atlas is at least able to trade it. But Fusick is just kind of diving in and getting caught at these really, really rough positions. But he does almost have ult up, so I feel like we will not see the swap yet. But there's immediately the pop ult on Atlas. He does not have any movement abilities available to him, and now he's just going to get kind of slammed down there. L immediately with the barrier is going to be giant, though, as Fusick finds 2 in the backline, and that's a great trade. That's going to be Valpo being able to trade out a little bit. Venture dashes back up. They have all their cooldowns back up, so really, really hard to kill. May doesn't have the swift step up. Meepo going to be able to find that trade, and Valpo being able to trade that. It was a good idea out of Illinois, right? But Fusick just hit a clip on the backline with the ultimate.
I thought Valpo kind of threw a little bit there, getting caught out. Your Venture of all characters getting caught out by the Mauga ultimate, and then instantly dying, but that Wu Yang ultimate just made Soldier pretty much invincible, and they melted the Mauga.
Yeah, it's so rough. Mauga, Venture getting ulted by Mauga is so rough because it disables all movement abilities, so you can't burrow. Like, it feels so bad, but Cyberstone looking to get aggressive on this point, but way too aggressive as Valpo immediately punishes it right there before they can even dive back underground. L now hitting up to the side. You do have Tactical Visor open, and I would not mind if after this Atlas push, you just pop this because the Wu Yang ult is right there. Tracer looking to dash in, and that is going to be useful as the Wu Yang ult pops, and it's going to be able to finish off Atlas. You do trade DPS for DPS, though. Both Ventures just going really, really hard and getting punished for it right now, but Fusick not in a great spot, trying to just win out there. Really nice healing from Meepo there on the angle, and that's going to keep him alive. That was a really, really nice kind of angle just to be able to find that heal. It does keep Fusick alive and at least threaten kill on Tracer, so you stop the stagger pressure, but now you have a lot of ults coming up. I want to see how Valpo wants to play this. If they want to just send Fusick to the backline again and trade it, if they want to try and pop Visor up top here and just cover him a little bit. If we want to pop Atlas in the background, yeah, and there's Fusick immediately dashing up to the top, gets the slam down on the support, tries to back up, does trade half his health for that, but the shield is going to be able to keep him alive. L is solo on point right now, though. He does have the healing support and the boosted heal now. That's going to be huge, but that's a huge Mauga ult popping down to the side, does trap out 3 people for the side of Valpo. Fusick just kind of holding around the side. Pulse Bomb not going to be able to find anything for the side of Illinois, as now there's just so much trading. The healers are doing so much work for the side of Valpo as 2 fall down. Atlas pops the ult, gonna be able to trade that. Cyberstellar putting in a lot of work for Illinois, being able to trade 2 off, but Valpo is just winning this fight, almost getting the kill on Venture, but Venture burrows right before that. All this after the 2 VPS for the side of Illinois, and Valpo pushing this objective straight ahead. You still have the 1-up. You still have 3 ultimates for the side of Valpo, 2 only for the side of Illinois, so that is a positive trade for you. Mauga is back on the ult, and the gates are immediately open. The healing is not going to be enough for L. They get pushed in, and Valpo falling down with 1 pick here. You have to be careful. I mean, you got to play with these kind of gates. Atlas going up really, really deep up here, going to be able to trade one, but Valpo is just falling. Both supports are down. Fusick stuck in this back line. That's going to be a one trade for Illinois. That is exactly what they wanted there. But Valpo being okay, you popped one ult. It's rough because it didn't work out for you, but you at least traded gate for gate.
Yeah.
Right, you go gate for gate, you have a minute left on the payload, you could still play this to objective, right? You know, it's not overtime, so you get a lot of time pushing onto this clock, but Illinois has kind of found their footing with the 2 flex and then Mauga being able to solo on this point. I feel like Valpo just needs to be a little bit more flexible here, like we saw them in the last couple of rounds, to try and break this push, but you have a lot of ultimates up. As long as L doesn't get picked early in this, I feel like you're winning, but here comes the Wu Yang ult and a slam down the back, but it popped way too early. He doesn't get down fast enough. Fusick's in a terrible position. He's going to be able to pick up.
Oh,
he missed the health pack.
Well, he gets back to it, though.
Okay, they just ignored him, though, because they just dove the back line. And his cool stuff falls down immediately. There's the Wu Yang ult as well, going to be able to find out L. And Valpo just misplays that fight. 30 seconds left on the clock, and now, I mean, you're stuck without Wu Yang ult. You still have L, but L has just been holding Salt for a while because there's really hasn't been an angle for him to pop this. You're at a really, really rough spot here because there's the pop-up from Atlas as well. Look for a pick, and that's huge. That is giant. You have 10 seconds on the clock, and May is down. That is a big, big pick for you. You do have Swift Step to get back on the point, but Atlas is going to fall for that. But L is just pushing this immediately. Venture pops up to the side. You have the just barrier, or excuse me, you have the ult on point, but it's not going to be able to find anything as Meepo dies as well. L going to get picked out from the side, and they just played so patiently. I mean, time is on the side for Illinois, and they are just using it effectively because 2 drop down for the side of Valpo. Overtime, and all that's left is Fusick on point. Atlas dashing around the corner. Here comes a huge ultimate, a lot of damage, but no kills popping off, and Valpo is going to fall in this map 3. That is going to go to Illinois, and that is going to bring our series to 2-1. We have a game on our hands. Oh, they let us contemplate after that match. They just kind of held it there. Fusick really enjoying that round apparently in the chat, but yeah, Don Dangle's gonna be able to pick up that. Yeah, I feel like Valpo was kind of struggling a little bit with the flexibility in that comp, especially on that offensive pressure. We talked about holding the ults a little too long.
Yeah.
L just wasn't.
L definitely waited too long. I think once those gates got traded, you needed to look to use it right then after they were traded on that next push instead of the one after that after everyone on Valpo fell again, because you know the Wu Yang ult can only really help one person. It is not going to keep the entire team alive, which is what you're looking to pick. Also, I don't know. The Soldier ultimate is kind of a little useless maybe into that composition. Tracer can kind of just get out.
Yeah.
Venture can just go in the ground. Mauga has plenty of health. Kiriko can step to any of the teammates. So once one of those DPS get away or the other support, like it really only can target Wu Yang at that point or try to burst down the Mauga. But Mauga's not going to have enough movement for you to need to worry about using that on him anyways.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, if they swap Lycabus back in for this next game, for L or for Atlas. But then also, you know, they had the same issue they kind of had in that first round of game 1, where the ball would go in, and then they would just get dove on, and then you don't have a tank to stand in front, and they had a full health Mauga, and there wasn't enough shred. You know, even with Soldier, who can put out a lot of damage.
It's just weird. I feel like if you're a little bit more flexible with that comp and you swap up the Soldier pick, I feel like it's fine. Because it just felt like we were having success, especially with the full dive, even when we would leave behind, because our backline had a lot of sustainability, right? Like Genji has a lot of movement and has a really good delay with both dash and deflect, right? Our supports were both very mobile, so you were able to just swap around a little bit, whether it was Lucio or Wu Yang with Kiriko, right? I don't feel like that was an issue, but then it's like you add another layer to that where Soldier not only doesn't have setup with the team, right, but also there's no place to drop ults, and it doesn't really work with the Venture. I like that it covers kind of the hit scan angle, and it worked against Illinois when they were playing the Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
But once they swapped off Cassidy Soldier, you gotta swap. Like you gotta switch something up. So happy to see that Valpo is going to try and just, refresh, reset, move into this next game. It didn't work. It happens. And there are games like that. There are times where your champ pool just doesn't work, and that's
Yeah.
how it moves. So we are going to take a slight break here in the booth as we transition into our map 4 of the series, and we will catch you guys then. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, for the start of our map 4 of this Valpo Varsity Overwatch against Illinois University. I'm your host, Diadem. I'm here with my co-host,
George.
And Valpo, falling down in the last map, going to move the series to 2-1 as we go to our 4th map here, Esperanza. We're moving to a push map, right? Which, playing with how aggressive Valpo likes to be, I enjoy it. You got a couple of the picks back. Obviously, the bans for this map were Tracer is banned and Ball is banned. But Valpo swapping back in like a bus over L for this next round, so we have to see how that kind of affects our comp. Fusik back on the Diva, we got like a bus back on the Genji, Atlas back on the Reaper, and it puts a big smile on my face to see NH Cool Stuff back on that Lucio.
Yeah, I think that's the highlight here. Is that NH Cool Stuff's Lucio is back, and it's on a map where it's viable.
Yep.
He
loves the rollouts. Oh, he hit the
messed
corner.
it up.
Oh, that's so rough. Oh,
no.
Look away. I promise he doesn't mess that up usually.
Cover your children's eyes.
There, Hazard coming out for the side of Illinois. I like that. Immediately going to dash to this back line, look for an early pick, but the damage is just going to be a ton here. The Cleanse going to try and just keep them alive. Cleanse coming out of the side of Valpo as well, and Lycabas going to capitalize. Meepo with a headshot as well in the back line. That's going to be both supports down for the side of Illinois. Fusik is going to capitalize, pushing back on that. Hazard, Rockets, dead. Oh. honestly, Cyberstellar, I saw the vision. He had the Venom dunk. He was trying to dunk on Diva right there. I like it. But Valpo, early pick there. I like how aggressive Hazard was being. But into this comp, when you have Diva like thrusters up and available, and he's like Diva's already behind you, you cannot push into that because he's just going to send you further back in. As Genji immediately dashes to the side, but Atlas is just immediately going to join that fight right there. And I said immediately twice because it is happening in a flash. Like a bus falling a little bit low. The cleanse going to be used out there, so Valpo doesn't have a very valuable cooldown here, but they flip the map completely. They're going to try and just get this objective. The Diva mirror coming out for the side of Illinois. That is going to be a lot of boosted healing for the side. Defense Matrix keeping Lycabus alive there, but they're just pushing Lycabus so low in this back, playing with my heart here in the booth a little bit there as Atlas falling down. Fusic going to be able to find the first pick of this kind of stalemate right there, and then Diva popping up out of mech right there. Atlas falling a little bit low. You have to be careful about these headshots, but so does Diva. Atlas finding the first one, Fusic getting the second one, Lycabus finding a double kill on the back line, and Valpo is just in full swing right now. No ults needed, full team kill. That's what I like to see. First objective, and we are moving to our final objective here. 4 ults up for the side of Valpo, 1 ult almost coming up, and with the swaps coming out of the tank, Zarya's not even close to ultimate, right?
Nah.
15% is abysmal right now at this point in the game because you are realistically 2 fights away. If Valpo can play this well and find their picks, I would not mad. Yeah, pop the ult right now. There's immediately a dash in the back. Lycabus finds the first one, looking for the second one right there, and you push them off because now you have the beat dropped as well. You get only 1 kill out of that, but you have so much pressure. You're already pushed them to spawn, and Valpo is just full steam ahead looking for the kill. The kill on Don Dangles is going to be giant there as they are approaching the final objective. 3 ults still up for the side of Valpo. Even though they used 2 there, they're still tied with the side of Illinois. This is giant. The gates are immediately going to be opened up, and you're going to tie it back up. The self-destruct coming in huge. Venture diving to the back line looking for the kill on Meepo, but Alice is going to be able to trade in the back of their own. You're going 1 for 1. Both Kirikos are going to be down for the side. Wu Young ult is going to pop out. Not going to be able to find any stuns there except for on the take, and Lycabus stays alive. Going to be able to find the first one. Fusic looking for this dive on the second one. Don Dago is going to be able to trade back in. So this is a good fight for Illinois right now. They find the 2 picks right there. Lycabus falling low, and he also is going to fall. Valpo diving in, just not being able to find the picks that they wanted to there. Going to fall, and that's going to be the first 1 fight for Illinois, but you already pushed 135 meters, and there's 6 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, it's going to be really rough. You know, this is... Valpo might be able to contest this before it even gets back to Central, but, you know, at most it's going to get right here to the Central, and the progression's going to slow down when they hit their wall, so... I'm also not sure if the Doomfist is going to be great for this, you know, maybe pushing the back to get you out of your spawn, but... It didn't really pay off in the other map where he pulled it out. I think it was King's Row. They kind of just got ran over. Pretty much a mirror matchup, though, for the most part. Otherwise, off of 1 DPS, 1 tank. Venture Ultimate about to come up for Cyberstellar, so nothing to really play with that. It'll be disappointing for Illinois if they have to invest in this early.
Maze stuck out
So low.
Yeah, there's the hit, but now that you don't have TP right there, it's a free shot immediately walking up Fusic looking for the pick. Meepo is going to die in the backline, but Atlas and Fusic diving together is just always going to win out that trade. That's going to be 2 down, and the healing in the back is going to be huge. Atlas with a double kill right there, and there are 3 down for the side of Illinois. Atlas with the quadra looking for the penta on the side. Hello. Oh, no, Fusic got it. Never mind. No, honestly, I don't blame him. You got to finish off that kill, especially with 135 left on the clock. You want to just get everybody in there. But you're going to see Valpo is not opting to push the robot too far. Like, they're sending their slipperiest people up there to push the robot as far as they can because they know you got time advantage. If you have a pick off, you want to play with 5 here, and you're looking for some kind of pick, like a bus with the reflect right there, trying to just dash up to the top, stay alive a little bit. Doomfist still on this objective, not going to be able to find the dash, but being able to go back on Fusic. And you have an ult from the backline of Adventure. Illinois looking for some kind of pick, but the beat is immediately dropped to kind of counteract that. Meepo dashing in with Atlas. The duo is going to be insane because there's just no good spot for them to sit right now. Genjio coming out to the side of Illinois. Daring's going to be able to pick off 1 Fusic. Daring finds a second one. The blade is going to be active, and that is a huge cooldown used for Illinois, but it was used extremely well. Daring finding the double kill right there and going to be able to just effectively kill that whole push. Fusic not opting to use the self-destruct. I like it. Just back up. You're not even at like robot being pushed right now. Meepo just swift stepping right back out. I like this. You just have to be careful. You cannot have Meepo or Lycabus die right now, or else it's really rough.
No, and great thing, 4 minutes remaining here, but still 0 meters out of Illinois. They're going to get their first progression right here, and if that time
Yes.
runs out and no one takes it all the way, it's whoever's pushed it farther.
I love it. This Valpo team is not panicking. They are just chilling out a little bit. And there's immediately the Wuyang on Genji looking for the backline. Going to be able to get two knocked up with the Wraith mode. It's going to be huge for Atlas. And now that he knows the deflect is not out, here comes the Death Blossom. Finds the first one, finds the second one. Fusey gets the third. And that's a huge shutdown. Way to watch the cooldowns. He knows that Genji deflect is not up. And he makes advantage of it. And there's cool stuff in the back. And all that's left is Doomfist flying around the side. Doomfist is taking a really long time. Probably, yeah, just going to have to kill himself to try not to stagger it. But Valpo has just taken the advantage back in their own hands. You used 2 ultimates for that, but you just won out in that fight, and that's going to be huge. You have ult advantage going in. Quite frankly, there is nothing stopping Lycabus from just popping ult right now. Like, you can force gates and you can walk up. Fusic also has ult as well to be able to have reset, so you can play aggressively with it. You don't have to look for bomb kills, but you just know that you have a free remech, right? So you just play up a little bit, and there's the gates immediately open for the side of Illinois. They are not waiting for Valpo to try and engage this. Atlas kind of stuck in the corner. Still does have Wraith mode. Has to be careful about the CC, but gets pushed back. That's just a lot of healing. You have to care for the backline. Lycabus does get hit with the kinetic grenade and is going to fall. And a huge dash from Doomfist right there. The Meteor Strike as well. Fusic is just sitting on point here. Not going to use the self-destruct for the remech either. Knows that the fight is over, but even though these fights are going so rough for Valpo, the way that they're playing it, they dragged another 2 minutes off the clock.
Yeah.
Like that, we went from 6 minutes, then pushed 135 to 4 minutes where they've got 22 meters to 2 minutes now, and the robot's not even pushing red side anymore. Like, this is, even though we're losing these fights, Valpo is just winning out because they're holding. Like, Lycabus has to be careful a little bit there. Really nice cleanse there, and Fusic immediately going to recognize the backline, dashing with Lycabus, looking for this kind of kill here. Going to be able to trade that out, and that's going to be big, because now you can walk back onto this point. Atlas trying to take around the side. Lycabus has to chill out a little bit with the health objective that he has, but oh my goodness, the rockets landed everywhere, and Lycabus just has to dash in and clean up. I know he likes pressing left shift right there, because when you see a low health target on Genji, it is just juicy. Valpo with a quick clean right there, still holding their ultimates, going to be approaching 5 ultimates when realistically they were going to be approaching 3 for the side of Illinois, but now it's going to be even lower.
Yeah, I mean, switch out to the Hog, which is interesting. I guess just looking for the sustain.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you gotta swap something up, right? It's just not working. But there's Lycabus immediately with the ult on the backline, but he just gets shut down. That's a great trade from Illinois right there for them, because there's immediately the Wuyang, the beat, and the push to the backline. Genji dropping the blade. Not going to be able to find anybody, though. Falling down almost a little bit too low. Does get traded up. Fusic still playing up in the top side. You have self-destruct, and it's cool stuff. Being able to open up a little bit here, and the pull's going to be huge. Atlas falls down, and you are not going to drop the ult right there. Yeah, just hold it again. I mean, there's a minute left on the clock. Fusic is literally just holding his remech, because all these times they're just killing everybody else before the fight, so there's no point in popping it. And you hold it, so you always just have that advantage. Again, Illinois is still on the back foot. They have to push this objective, right? You have the advantage playing on defense when pushed, because when that overtime clocks, you know where they have to be, right? They cannot hang anywhere else, because Atlas is on this top side. Fusic falling extremely low, trying to just hop to this back. Genji almost taking him out, but that's going to be a lot of healing. Again, you don't have to worry about this robot too quickly yet. Yep, there's the swift step immediately out, trying to not get picked. Oh, Lycabus almost finds it, but the gate is going to be open, and the reflect is going to be giant. Darian's going to be able to trade off one. Oh, Atlas gets pushed back. The Death Blossom is just wasted. He's not going to be able to find it. That's 2 down, 3 down for the side of Valpo, and that's a botched fight. Lycabus is going to be able to trade in the backline. They have to look for some kind of base. Lycabus is not done with the fight yet, though. That's going to be 2. Looking for the third one, and the dash as well. Going to be able to almost find the third one. There's no supports. Fusic gets the fight, and oh my goodness, pulling the fight from out of the coffin is Lycabus, and Fusic trading this back off, and overtime is popped. All that's left is Roadhog. Pop the ult on point, wave high, wave goodbye, because Valpo takes this whole series 3-1 against Illinois. Whew, what a way to finish it. What a way to finish it. I thought the fight was botched, in all honesty, but Lycabus just coming in with the cleanup. Fusic dashing in the backline as well, and they were just too nasty at that final one. Atlas, although we saw the boop away, Okay, we're just gonna load in immediately. Yeah, this was a, so it wasn't actually gonna be a penta, it was gonna be a quadra. I just, I can't count. I have that issue in the booth. I can't really count, but that is gonna be it from us in the booth. Valpo finishing off the series with a 3-1 win. Extremely well done, especially in dominant fashion on that push map. Illinois playing well as well, trying to flex it around a little bit, but Valpo's dive comps just being extremely strong in what they practice for. So
Yeah.
any final words, George, from here in the booth?
No, I like their ability to adapt on the fly and not get stuck in what they were doing.
Mhm.
Something we haven't seen them have to do much of
Yep.
because they've kind of just ran over pretty much every competition they've had this year. But it's good to see that when they get hit, they can kind of brush it off and stand back up and change the composition. That one was for Coach Bryce, out sick today, so
Yeah,
uh,
he was tuning in from at home. So
yep,
shout out to you, Bryce. Hope you feel better. Hope you feel
yes,
better. But that honestly, that's gonna be it from us here in the booth today.
yep.
Thank you guys for all the likes, comments, follows, and subscribes. Thank you for all the support as well. These kind of
Oh,
series are super exciting for us. So honestly, I
we
quit complain. But
we do gotta talk about something. Just because
yep,
today is
we hit one goal. We
uh
hit the goal.
the first one. Yeah,
I am going to be dressing up as Heimerdinger.
yeah.
Man, that is
Um,
that is something. I gotta now order the stuff tomorrow. That's it's gonna be a take on all of us. But you know what? It's Halloween. I appreciate it. Like 27 subs. It was actually 30 subs
it
with the
was
update. Yeah,
some of them expired though.
making halfway to a goal that I set that I didn't even think we were gonna hit the first goal is extreme. I'm extremely proud of this program. So thank you. I will be embarrassed on stream on Halloween, but quite frankly, it's all in the fun of the game. So thank you for all the support, all the money.
Anyone want to gift 33 subs right now?
Yeah,
Bryce?
I did lose my mind if that
Bryce, are
happened.
you
No.
watching?
Hey, we're on 3 minute delay, so we'll be out of here hopefully before that even
We
happens. So
will. Yeah.
yeah, thank you everybody for all the support. We will catch you guys at the start of our next stream next week. Should
Yep.
be, but that's gonna be it from us. So we'll see you guys soon.
See ya.